Yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Malcolm and I am back for another video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the new movie Furiosa, and we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review. So this week I got invited to an early screening of Furiosa, which was absolutely awesome. The last time I got invited to an early screening, I saw Godzilla x Kong, I gave the review, I posted it, and everybody got mad because they were like, yo, this isn't a spoiler-free review and you posted it too early. So I'm learning. This time I'm gonna post a spoiler-free review, and then when the movie actually drops, I'll give the full review of the actual movie. But before we get into the review, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. It will help me out a ton. I'm trying to grow on YouTube and you guys would be instrumental in that. And if you like nerd content and you want to see a lot of it, I got about 3 hours worth of content every week posted on my podcast, The Storm Podcast. Check it out. Me and my homies talk about all your favorite anime, movies, cartoons, comics every single week for about 3 hours. So go check that out. You will love it. A little backstory. I actually haven't seen any Mad Max movies before this, so I actually wasn't even gonna go. When I got the email about the screening, I was like, well, I haven't seen any, so I'm not gonna see it. But I was talking to my friend and he told me that this was actually a prequel, so technically I should be able to enjoy it even if I don't know anything about the Mad Max world. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm rocking, let's check it out. And I can say, as someone who has never seen Mad Max, this was awesome. It was fantastic. I did feel like there were a couple things that I didn't know or maybe were shrouded in a little bit of mystery, but for the most part, you can completely enjoy this movie if you don't know anything about Mad Max, Furiosa, the Fury Road, anything like that. You can still enjoy this movie because I enjoy the fuck out of this movie. I would probably, if I had to give it a rating, 8 or 9 out of 10. It was really, really good. The first thing that I want to talk about regarding this movie is the acting. The acting was all so on point. Chris Hemsworth did an incredible job playing the villain. He was charismatic, he was villainous, but he still felt fun. Like, you hated him and liked him at the same time. It was crazy. I loved it. Cause me, I'm used to seeing Chris Hemsworth play more or less heroic characters. So seeing him play somebody more dark, dirty, funny, like, it was a really great role for him and he really stepped into it in a good way and I loved it. He was probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. And then Furiosa, she was acting her ass off. Here's the thing. She doesn't talk much during the movie. She spends the majority of the movie being silent, but even through her silence, you can feel her emotions, what she's trying to convey, the messages. She doesn't really need words to get her point across, and it works really well. At the beginning of the movie, I thought she was gonna be annoying. If I'm just being 100% honest, I thought she was gonna be annoying because of the events that had happened to her. I was like, oh, this is very cliche. I've seen this before and I don't like this type of character. But oh my God, was I wrong? Her character grew on me. I was attached to her. It was really, the acting was 10 out of 10. I can't remember the actress's name off the top of my head, but she was acting. She killed it. The next thing I want to talk about regarding this movie is the action. The fights and the choreography were amazing. I've never seen any of the Mad Maxes, so I didn't really know what to expect as far as choreography and fights go. Like, I know they use cars and they like battle and stuff like that, but there was a scene where they were driving and there were people trying to like hijack the vehicle. I'm pretty sure that's all Mad Max is about, but people were trying to hijack it. And the creativity of the way they were trying to take this vehicle was insane. They were using parasails and explosives, and just seeing like the CGI looked really good. There were some scenes where the CGI was a little shaky, but for the most part, it was really good. But to see the way they were fighting and it was back and forth, and the way you can get so creative, exciting, and innovating with just cars was really cool. Because normally when we talk about choreography, we're talking about fight choreography, punch, kick, spin, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? But even the car choreography, the way the motorcycles would drive up and people would jump off and have to mantle up onto it or do all types of things like that, it looked really cool. It was really exciting and I loved it. And even outside of just the car choreography, there was really good choreography when they had like guns and stuff too. There were a lot of scenes where people were shooting, blasting. The action was top tier. earlier, the suspense that was built up between shots was great. It was incredible. You literally spent the entire movie on the edge of your seat. Now, I'm sure if you're a Mad Max fan, you probably know this already, but for me, one of the biggest positives was the world building in this movie. The fact that it is a wasteland and people are trying to just make their way through it, it's really interesting because you see the way civilization kind of builds up with the different towns that come up and the different factions and how everybody has their own like flair, like those guys with the bald heads or whatever. I think they're called the War Boys, my homie was telling me. The world building that went into this was really cool, and obviously this isn't just the world building of one movie. It is leaning on the world building of many movies that happened in the past that I haven't seen. I'm gonna go back and watch them because this was really good. But yeah, the world building was incredible. I loved it. You really felt like you were in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. As far as post-apocalyptic wastelands go, I feel like this might be the book. And in that same breath, the costume design was incredible too. I loved seeing the way that everybody looked, how they all had their individual flair, their individual styles, but it still looked like they were in a wasteland. It worked really well. It was so cohesive. It was really fucking good. The story was also great as well. When you see a movie like this, you don't expect to watch it for the story. I haven't seen the other Mad Max movies, so maybe you do. But when I go see a movie that's about like cars and explosions, I don't really need the story to be all there if I'm watching a Fast and Furious or Transformers or G.I. Joe, something of the sort. I'm not looking for a great story, but this had it. It was a classic revenge story. It did have its twists and turns that made it a little bit different than a regular revenge story, but it worked out more or less how a revenge story goes. Bad things happen, person wants revenge, they grind all their life to get it. You guys know how a revenge story goes. I'm not gonna give any spoilers as to what happens, but it's a revenge story. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what happens because this is a prequel. So I'm sure at some point in the Mad Max saga, y'all know what ends up happening to Furiosa and how it all goes. But to me, this was all fresh and new. So I was literally on the edge of my seat like, oh shit, this just happened. Well, how's she gonna get out of this? How's she gonna do this? But she can't continue after that. And I also forgot that it was a prequel. So there were a couple times where I genuinely did think that she might die. Like it might just be over with and she might get cooked because I had forgot that she's in a bunch of movies later in the series and stuff like that. So I didn't even know, but overall, great movie, great experience. I had an incredible time. If you want to hear me go more in depth about the movie, I will be posting a full in-depth review. I just didn't want to repeat of Godzilla X Kong when I gave you guys a full review and everybody was mad at me because I posted a spoiler review early. But I learn when you guys tell me stuff, I take it into consideration and I learn and I get better from it. So from now on, whenever I go to movie screenings, I will be posting a spoiler-free review and a spoiler review, so that way you guys get the best of both worlds. But if you watched this far and you enjoyed the video, you probably did enjoy it, you watched the whole thing. Please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and please leave a comment to let me know what you thought about this video and what other videos you would like to see from me in the future. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you guys in my next video, which will probably be my spoiler review of Furiosa. Thank you so much. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out. Peace.